Hello, friends of the middlewares. I'm Clemens. I work at Microsoft on Windows Azure. I'm on the Service Bus team, and some of you will already know me from talks that I've done over the years at various conferences, and I'm also on Twitter, where a bunch of people are following me. And so I recently moved. One of the reasons why I'm making this video to explain to the people who are curious where that exactly is, where I moved to. So the first thing to say is that I moved to Germany. And whenever people ask the question, in Germany, whereabouts in Germany? And when you talk to people from America, most of what they know, and that has actually historical reasons, is in the south of Germany. So they are a little disappointed when I don't say Frankfurt or Heidelberg or Munich, because that's what the most of the folks from America know. And they know that because that's where the Americans were back after the war. And that's all the stories that people brought back when they were stationed here. They brought that back. And so people in America mostly know about Germany in the south. And of course, that's also where we still have all of our wonderful castles. And but people up here where we are, where I am, people don't know so much about it. So let me try to explain that to you. The city that I'm in is called Viersen. I'm actually in a part of Viersen, part of town. And where is Viersen? Viersen is very close to Holland. It's about a 10-minute drive to Holland. It's about 2 hours to Amsterdam. If I get on the Autobahn, it's about 45 minutes to an hour drive until I reach the border to Belgium. And then on the other side, there's the great metropolis of the Ruhr area, 15 million people just about in this metroplex. We're just at the west end of it. And if you still don't have any idea what that all means, here's a map. So you see the British Isles, you see Spain in the south and the rest of Europe. And where that arrow is pointing to, that's where we are. So we're very close to the Dutch border, and that's where I live now. So one of the reasons why I'm making this video is to explain to you where I'm at now. So I'm in Germany, and I built myself a little studio. The sound is not optimal yet, and the light is not optimal yet, and the camera gets a little confused with the light. If I'm showing you something white, it goes all crazy with the background. See, and now I'm getting light again. So I got to go and figure this out, how this all works, because I'm setting this all up for myself. Because one of the things I want to do from here is I want to do on a regular cadence, a show that I'm going to put on Channel 9, and then I'm going to put also on YouTube. Now, the purpose of that show, the subject of that show is going to be obviously Service Bus. It's also going to be solution architecture. So behind this black wall is a whiteboard. So the goal is that I can use that whiteboard to explain things. There's actually on my private YouTube channel, which is not a lot to look at. There's one little video that I made about how queues work, and that got actually popular with a bunch of people. And I did that on the little whiteboard of my then 4-year-old daughter, kind of in the living room. And so now that I moved here, I actually got some professional lights that I'm looking at right now, and I still need to learn how to work that camera and make these automatic things not so automatic. But I'm going to learn that in the next few weeks, how that all works. And then I'm also doing content planning for what's going to be that show. Now, that show is not going to be just me talking. There's going to be a lot of that. But I also want to talk to other people on Link, so doing some interviews on Link, probably with video because that's more fun for a video show. And we're going to have some screencasts, walking through best practices for certain technologies, and then also do some whiteboarding, sketching out solution patterns, sketching out answers to questions that you might have. So that's where I have a question for you specifically. And that is, I need input. I need questions. I need to have suggestions, things that you want to hear, that you want to know, technologies you may want to cover. let's see what's in scope here. So my team, the team I work on, owns Service Bus. Service Bus is the next generation messaging technology from Microsoft, and we also have the relay technology in the system. And so our team also owns MSMQ. Our buddy team, right, the team that's right organized next to us, is the workflow team. So workflow, long-running processes, that's also part of this. Another sister team that we have is the BizTalk team. And the BizTalk team also does messaging, but they do messaging in integration fashion as well. The workflow team also owns the distributed transaction coordinator. So there's a range of middleware technologies. Oh, and I shouldn't forget, there's obviously also still the Windows Communication Foundation team, which is now part of the ASP.NET team and maintains the Windows Communication Foundation, builds some additional features as they've done for 4.5, and then they also own the web API. So there's a range of features in the immediate vicinity of the Service Bus team that all form the Microsoft middleware stack. And while our user interface technologies, immediate user interface technologies, ASP.NET and JavaScript, and well, JavaScript being something that we used and I don't think we can claim we own, but JavaScript and ASP.NET user interface technologies, XAML and all those things, they get a lot of attention and they get a lot of video coverage, and so do database technologies. But the middleware stuff is sitting kind of in the middle and doesn't get probably as much love as we could give it. So one of the goals that I have here is to talk about messaging, talk about the reason why you want to have messaging, but also talk about the other parts of the middleware stack and how they fit, and also how you can use them to build sophisticated solutions. The solutions that we're talking about here are typically solutions that run on many, many machines. Not necessarily one machine, also not necessarily a fairly simple scale-out story where you have a set of data. The set of data is mostly read-only, and that's easy to just distribute across a number of nodes and then run a web farm with it, but more sophisticated solutions that have more write data and that also need to collect data from all kinds of different places. So the complexity, the sophistication of those applications is going to be fairly high. So whatever is in that show is going to be a little more complicated, a little more complex, and we're not going to be shy of it, because this is the thing I want to do here is for professional software developers who need to tackle real-life challenges. So that's what the goal is. So again, to do this right, I certainly need your input and need your help. And so to do that, where did I put that? Here it is. So to do this, the best way you can help me is by sending me email or by tweeting me. So my email is clemensv@microsoft.com, and on Twitter I'm at clemensv. So that's the easiest way to send me some suggestions. You could certainly send me suggestions on who you want me to talk to on Link, what kinds of technologies you want me to talk about. Obviously, there's also on Windows Azure and Windows Server a lot of additional technologies, frameworks that are layered on top of the things that we build. So we build Service Bus and let's say MSMQ as a foundation for things where people layer another level of abstraction, another level of middleware on top of that. And certainly we're not shy of covering those and mentioning those, and also when there's no releases out, pointing to those. So I don't know where this is going. I'm starting to do the content planning now and thinking about how this is going to be structured, and so I'm looking for your input on what we should do there and whether you would actually find something like this interesting. In terms of cadence, I think every 2 weeks would be something that's probably fairly aggressive, but something that's doable. And then in terms of length, might be a 45-minute show. Sometimes might be a little bit longer. Trying to cover, taking our time to cover complex topics. And so it's the one promise I can make is it's not going to be 3 clicks, you're done. It's going to be mostly about things that are a little more complicated, that are a little more on the advanced side rather than on the beginner side. So that's what I had. So that's my plea to, for you to help me getting some material together or getting some ideas together to structure that show. I want to start doing this in the next 2-3 weeks, to wrap up the content plan and then start producing. So I'm hoping that still in December I can actually go and publish the first one and then get into the rhythm of publishing more of these. That's what I had, and thank you for sticking with me and listening to me. Bye-bye.